His family goes back 4 generations in Sarasota. He's been an activist, an artist, a mentor, head of the local NAACP, and today he's Vice President of Diversity and Inclusion at Selby Botanical Gardens. Walter Gilbert, welcome to Suncoast, people.
Thank you.
And I have to ask, starting off, 4 generations.
Right.
Your family must have seen lots of changes over the years here. How far back is 4 generations?
The late 1800s.
Okay.
When black people first started coming to Sarasota.
Yeah. What brought would that be a great-grandfather?
It would be great-grandfather.
What brought your great-grandparents here?
Basically work. And this is both sides of my family, my father's side and my mother's side. It was work for my father's side. And on my mother's side, it was a owner of a sharecropping plantation, I still call it, that they was living on. Mm-hmm. And they had to leave because it was a little misunderstanding about the pay. And
you must have seen, just in your lifetime, a lot of changes here in Sarasota.
Oh yeah, I've seen Sarasota go from a little sleepy retirement during season type area, where businesses was closed down when the season wasn't in place,
right,
to there is no more season. Sarasota's open for business year round now.
Yeah, and you work now, of course, with Selby Botanical Gardens, and I understand there's a family history connection.
Yes, when I was 9, 10 years old, in the summer, because I was such a bad kid, my mother used to allow me to go to Selby Gardens with a guy named Mr. Yancey and another man named Limas Dixon, who worked for Mrs. Selby. And at that time, it wasn't Selby Gardens, it was her backyard. And I had to go there and do whatever they told me to do. And I got to meet Mrs. Selby, and fine lady, very generous lady, and very down-to-earth lady. She would come out the back door of her modest little house. You wouldn't know they were multimillionaires, even for that period of time. Mm-hmm. And come out and give the guys their marching orders, and she would have on little rubber boots and get right out there and get dirty with them. So
she'd be right out there working with
them. She was deadly serious about her yard. And as a kid at that time, I remember thinking, this is her backyard? Because my backyard was maybe from there to that wall.
Right.
I just couldn't imagine anybody's backyard being that big.
It must have been beautiful gardens.
Oh yeah. It was more natural, if I could say that, than it is now. It was old Florida. Mm-hmm. You know, it was plants from Florida. We didn't have, she didn't have a bunch of imported stuff.
Let's back up a second. You said something about you were a bad kid.
Well, maybe mischievous would be a better word.
Mischievous, all right. Were you always mischievous growing up?
I still am. Most of the things I've done in my life is that you could describe it as that.
What about as John Lewis described as making good trouble?
I like John's, but I like Frederick Douglass better. Agitate, agitate, agitate.
Okay.
I'm an agitator.
You're an agitator, but you're also an advocator.
Yes. Thank you.
Tell me about some of your agitations. What?
Lies.
Lies.
Really agitates me.
Yeah.
You know, I had a father that raised me with the direction of never tell me a lie. See, because a liar would steal, cheat, and anything else despicable. So if you start out as a liar, you're probably going to end up some of those other things.
So lying could be like the tip of the iceberg of a personality,
yes.
You think?
Yes.
Have you ever told a lie?
I made some short statements bordered on the truth. I've walked that line. But to
I
be
think
honest,
we all have.
Yeah.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot, but
you make my daddy come back and get me.
He's probably watching right
Yeah,
now.
he detests lying.
Who influenced you most?
Him, my father.
Yeah.
My father was born in 1919.
Okay.
So he was very much a man of his times, meaning the times he grew up in and where he grew up in the South.
Yeah.
So there was certain things, as we know, during the Jim Crow and the whole Southern experience,
Yeah.
that kept him from maybe achieving as much as he would have liked to. But that didn't limit him to not being a man.
Right.
And I've seen him in certain incidents that he had to take care of his manhood, so to speak. And that was one of the things that he told me. He said, the only thing people can't take from you is your respect. He said, never give that up.
Do you think that Sarasota is better, worse, or about the same when it comes to people of color and their lives?
As far as opportunities, better. As far as being included and part of the entire community, worse. There is no same. It's always better or worse.
What are your hopes for our region? We call it the Suncoast, Manatee, and Sarasota, and the whole coast here. What are your hopes?
Well, just to have the entire community recognize that they are a community. I travel in different circles here in Sarasota. I'm just fortunate enough to do that now. And I see, and I'm in places where I see people just don't understand there's a whole community here. There's a lot of things here that make this work. And I see that being dismissed at a lot of levels, especially, and we don't want to jump on the political stage, but especially at the government level, the people that run our area. They just dismiss entire sections of the community just by ignoring them, just like they're not here. And I like to see that change.
Yeah. We live not too far from the airport here in the studio, so sometimes we hear an airplane, and we're not going to worry about that today. It's just part of the joys of having a nice
We'll just
airport
talk louder.
nearby. Yeah, there you go. Sometimes you do have to speak up to be heard.
Yes, most definitely.
As a member of the LGBT community, I have witnessed levels of discrimination and change, certainly not like black people, brown people. I have the advantage that at first impression, I'm an old fat white guy.
Correct.
So that automatically
Yes.
gives me privilege and status.
Mm-hmm.
And I found that type of discrimination, and I could never, and I do not intend to compare, but the type of discrimination and the level of discrimination
Mm-hmm.
that I have experienced
Mm-hmm.
because people didn't realize who I am has influenced my life and my awareness and sensitivity and efforts. But this isn't about me, this is about you. But I wanted to share that with you, that I get it.
Yeah,
But
and
as
that's
best as a
important.
white man can,
That's
I get
important because most white people can't say what you just said because they don't think that it exists. They won't own up to the fact that it exists. And it's not their fault that it exists. It's the way the structure was set up going back in history. So for you to say that, I applaud that, because for you to have that deep understanding of that, and you just said where it comes from. But if most people would just think about that and admit that, a whole lot of things would change. A whole lot of things would change, just like that.
It's a process, and some people will get it, some people won't.
Yeah.
Did you ever think you would be where you are today?
No, I always thought I would be a NFL football player, dating all the cheerleaders on the team and sitting by the pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I ever wanted to be, was an NFL football player.
What did you do to try and achieve that dream?
Well, I tried to kill myself, basically. I was a little kid growing up. My athletic part was I was speedy, but never had the weight and the size to take it any further. I walked on at Florida A&M, and I kind of bullied my way out there. I just kept going to practice because he was looking at my little butt. What you doing here? But after a year of that, I came to the realization that wasn't going to happen and started trying to pursue some other avenues of living.
And what were those avenues?
Well, my first job right out of college was with Delta Airlines as a station agent. And back in those days, when you was a station agent for Delta Airlines, which, by the way, was the only major ununionized airline at the time, you did everything. That's why they gave the term station agent. Whatever happened at that station. They sent me to Chicago, and they got the money's worth out of me.
Do you still fly Delta?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If they're going where I need to go.
Well, you could say that about life in general.
Here you go.
If you're going the way I'm going, I'll hitch a ride with you. Do you think you'll ever retire?
Retirement for me growing up was something I never saw anybody do. All the people in my family always went to work till the day they died, basically, or couldn't go anymore for physical reasons. The people around me in the community, they didn't retire. There was no retirement, basically, in that group of people. So it's not something I ever thought of until I got a little older in the workforce and saw people retiring, seeing people come here and retire. So yeah, that thought crossed my mind, but no, I won't.
You're not going to do it.
I'm not made like that.
Just keep working.
Yeah.
It sounds like you love what you do.
There's always something good to be done. So if it takes some work to do it, I'm about doing it.
You're about doing the good work.
Thank you.
Walter, thank you for being here.
Appreciate it.
Thank you for watching. We really appreciate your participation as a viewer, and also sending emails with your comments or ideas for guests. You can send them to info@suncoastpeople.com. It's right here at the bottom of the screen. I'm Robert Tim. Thanks for watching.